Hello friends, students and everyone else watching this video log. Uh, this is my first lecture trying to teach or explain the basics of accountancy. So when I say basics, I'm starting with the absolute basics useful for laymen, 11th, 12th, BCom or anyone, maybe like a refresher course. Okay, so not taking too much of time, let me start. So today I will be explaining about accountancy, accounting and bookkeeping, and then we have the functions of accounting and then the basis of accounting, that's accrual or cash basis. So when I say accountancy, we are learning accountancy, we are learning accounting. What does that mean? Does it mean the same like, bhai, accounting kar rahe hain, matlab kya hai? What are we doing? The general idea that would come to us is, bhai, जो भी business चल रहा है, whatever we are doing, all the transactions, we are recording it on paper. Is that called accounting? Is that accountancy for all of us? No. Of course, the idea is that, but what does it actually mean? See, we always need to know what is the actual or the true definition of what we are learning. What is accountancy? We need to know the true definition because we cannot just understand everything by logic. Logic has to be there, but true definitions have to be there, and based on that we have to form our logics. Okay? So what is accountancy? Accountancy is nothing but the formulation of principles for the purpose of recording the business transactions. I'll repeat, the formulation of principles for recording the business transactions. How is accountancy different from accounting? Now when I say accounting, it means using these principles that were formulated for the purpose of recording the business transaction. Now recording these transactions using these formulas will be called as accounting. So accountancy is a formulation, accounting is the actual recording of these business transactions. Bookkeeping, is it any different from accounting? Bookkeeping, the slight difference is only this much, that as the name suggests, bookkeeping, okay, which means that we maintain the set of books wherein we record all these transactions. We have to maintain the books, we have to maintain those sets of books wherein we are recording everything. That will be called as bookkeeping. Okay, so accountancy, formulation of principles, then we have accounting wherein we record. Of course, bookkeeping is all the set of books that we maintain after recording all these. This is bookkeeping. Now what are the functions of accounting? How do we, so when I am saying accounting, what are the basic things that we should keep in our head, while recording the transactions? Firstly, there is a business transaction, but we need to identify it. Okay, we need to identify that business transaction. Identification is a must. We need to identify which is a business transaction, which is a personal transaction, what has to be recorded, what should not be recorded. Okay, the first function of accounting. Then we have recording. भाई आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया बट हमने उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं किया. How is that? That will not help us in any way. When I say identifying, and after that we also need to record it. We need to record whatever we identify that yes, this is related to business or this has to be coming in the books. You record it. Fine. So and so much of cash, whatever principle you use, then you record it. After that, after you record all of them, now you start classifying it. What goes into what account? Okay, so that to have a better understanding. Now, chai bhi record kar liya, biscuit bhi record kar liya, then pencil bhi record kar liya. Suddenly at the end of the day, at the end of the year, or whenever it is, when you're checking your balance sheet or when you're checking your financial statements, you're like, okay, what's the profit? And how did I make such profit? What gives me the maximum amount of income? Or whatever reasons, all the questions will remain unsolved unless and until you go through the huge set of books which you have made it. So for that you need to classify it and make it into accounts. Okay, to understand under what head maybe you're getting the max or whatever it is, for whatever reasons, but we need to classify it. Then you summarize it. And then after you classify it, then you summarize giving a small summary of it. As simple as that. You summarize all your transactions. Then you analyze and interpret it. Now when I am saying summarize, it means the basic making of your balance sheet. Okay. Now, beyond making balance sheet, beyond making a financial statement, what exists, now you need to analyze and interpret all of them so that you can either keep up your performance even in the next year, or maybe not go down, or maybe do better. For all of that, you need to analyze your financial statements and interpret them correctly. Then you have communication. What is communication? You communicate this information to the financial users. The financial users could be your potential investors, or maybe the people who can give you money for running of your business, of course, in a form of loans, or whoever it is, the financial users. These are your basic functions of accounting. Next, we come to basis of accounting. What are the bases that we use? Generally, there are only two. That's accrual basis and cash basis. Go with teaching the cash basis first. So, cash basis is nothing but transaction ho gaya, but until and unless we receive the cash or we pay the cash, we will not record it in our books. गया बाहर में गया तेल लेने कि भाई ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ नहीं हुआ. What is most important? पैसा मिला कि नहीं. Correct. पैसा सब कुछ है. That is one of it. Very less used. Accrual basis most used, most recommended. Now why so? Okay. When I say accrual basis, basically it means we rely on transaction rather than the actual receipt or actual payment of the cash. Okay. Transaction इस साल में अभी हुआ है, you're going to record it. But you have received the money now, but transaction बाद में होने वाला है, you will not going to recognize the same. That is accrual basis. When I say accrual basis, we are recording those transactions which actually happen or actually taken place or in this year. Okay. Now why is that important? Because this will give us a true and fair view of our financial statements, which is most important. What do you mean by true and fair? इस साल में मैंने कितना कमाया है? How will we come to know how much have I earned in this year? It will depend on the incomes of this year and expenditure of this year. If I start calculating by, past 10 years and now I'm only receiving cash for all the expenditure that I've incurred in the last 5 years, my financial position will be super strong right now. Because I'm not showing what I have already expended, I'm only showing what I'm receiving. So that will be wrong. So less generally used by professionals like lawyers, individuals. Accrual basis, most used. So these are the basis of accounting based on which you choose one and then you follow that while recording your transactions. So this is the gist of the basics of accountancy. Trying to understand what is accountancy, where are we getting into, and how do we interpret it. Instead of having a blind eye, oh bhai journal entries se start karte hain, we'll understand debit credit. That's not the way we need to learn things. When we try to learn things, we need to first know from where it starts, where it emanates, have an understanding of it and then move forward. So which will give us the best idea of what we are doing. Okay, thank you so much people for listening to this video log, and I'll be posting more such videos, maybe going with the next lecture, or after this I will go with the accounting concepts, accounting terminology for everyone to understand better, and then I might go with accounting concepts and so on. Okay, thank you so much.